On this F150 with the 2.7 EcoBoost, P0087 means the PCM may be seeing that it can't maintain fuel pressure where it expects it. The truck may crank longer, run poorly, lack power, or act normal until the condition shows up under the right load. Broadly, this can involve low fuel level, low side fuel supply, a pressure sensor signal issue, high-pressure pump control, wiring, connectors, fuel injector leakage or damage, or a possible PCM concern. The key is not to jump straight to parts. Work the fuel pressure path in order and prove which side of the system is failing. Start by checking for codes. If circuit codes or other fuel system codes are present, check what they mean first before chasing P0087. Save the captured operating data before clearing anything. Also look at the FLI PID. For this path, the fuel level needs to be greater than 15%. If it's below that, add fuel as needed because a low fuel level can set this code with no other fault present. Once P0087 is the code you're working, this diagnostic path moves into the low-pressure fuel system checks. With the ignition off, relieve fuel pressure, connect a mechanical fuel pressure gauge, then key on and pressurize the system. Start the engine and watch the mechanical gauge. The low-pressure side needs to be greater than 310 kPa 45 psi. If it is, keep going. If it is not, leave this P0087 path and continue with low-pressure fuel system diagnosis instead of guessing at the high-pressure side. Next, compare what the PCM thinks low-side pressure is to what the mechanical gauge actually shows. After relieving pressure, disable the fuel pump, key on, and compare the FLP PID to the gauge. Then pressurize the system again. Start the engine, let pressure stabilize, cycle the ignition off and back on, and compare them again. The FLP PID needs to be within 153 kPa 22 psi of the mechanical gauge readings. If it is, continue. If it is not, install a new fuel pressure sensor, clear the PCM DTCs and repeat the self-test. Now check whether the low-pressure side holds after being charged. Relieve pressure, connect the mechanical gauge, key on, pressurize the system, and cycle the ignition several times to charge it. Then turn the ignition off and wait 15 minutes. After that wait, low-pressure fuel system pressure should still be greater than 310 kPa 45 psi. If it is, move on. If it is not, stay with low-pressure fuel system diagnosis. With the low side checks passed, move to the high-pressure pump control circuit. Turn the ignition off and disconnect the fuel injection pump connector. On the 2.7 EcoBoost, measure resistance between C119 pin 1 and C119 pin 2 on the component side. The fuel injection pump resistance should be between 0.3 ohmega 1 ohmega. If it is in range, continue to the circuit checks. If it is not in range, install a new fuel injection pump, clear the PCM DTCs, and repeat the self-test. Do not apply battery voltage across the fuel injection pump circuits. That can damage the fuel volume regulator solenoid. Next, disconnect the PCM connector and check the FVR and FVR-RTN circuits for opens. On the 2.7 EcoBoost, measure between C1232 E pin 1 and C119 pin 1, then between C1232 E pin 22 and C119 pin 2. Each circuit should be less than 5 ohmega. If the circuits pass and the target code is P0087, the path moves to the pump operation check. If either circuit fails, repair the open circuit, clear the PCM DTCs, and repeat the self-test. If the diagnostic branch you are on continues into short checks, keep the order straight. First, check the FVR and FVR-RTN circuits for a short to ground at the fuel injection pump connector side involving C119 pin 1 and C119 pin 2. The resistance check is evaluated as greater than 10,000 ohmega. Next, check whether the FVR and FVR-RTN circuits are shorted together by measuring between C119 pin 1 and C119 pin 2. That result is also evaluated as greater than 10,000 ohmega. Then key on and check the FVRRTN circuit at C119 pin 2 for a short to voltage. If any voltage is present, repair the short circuit, clear the PCM DTCs, and repeat the self-test. For the pump operation check, disconnect the fuel injection pump connector and inspect the connector for pushed-out pins and corrosion. Reconnect it, turn the ignition on, start the engine, wait 15 seconds and run the PCM self-test. If P0087 is still present, check the direct injection fuel injectors for external fuel leaks or damage and repair as necessary. Then clear the PCM DTCs and repeat the self-test. If P0087 does not return here, the system is operating correctly at this time, and the concern may have been caused by a loose or corroded connector. A related branch after the pump operation check uses a cold soak confirmation before going farther. Let the engine cold soak until engine coolant temperature drops below 37, 8 degrees C, 100 degrees F. Start the engine, let it idle for 6 minutes, then run the PCM self-test and check for that related code. If that branch continues, disconnect the PCM connectors and the fuel injection pump connector. Inspect for pushed-out pins and corrosion. Reconnect everything so it seats correctly, key on, and verify whether the concern is still present. If it still is, the next PCM operation check is to disconnect the PCM connectors, inspect again for pushed-out pins and corrosion, reconnect them securely, reset keep alive memory, and verify the concern. If the concern remains at that point, install a new powertrain control module. If it does not, treat it as a connection concern that is not present right now. Keep verification separate from the testing. After the correction is made, clear the PCM DTCs, run the self-test again, and make sure P0087 stays gone. If the path sends you back to an earlier pressure or circuit result, pause, recheck that earlier diagnostic path, and avoid guessing. Bottom line: prove fuel level and low side pressure first, prove the pressure signal, prove the high-pressure pump control circuit, then inspect for the P0087 specific injector leak or damage condition. For more diagnostic training, visit stepdiagnostics.com.